Marfoogle News going live in 3, 2, 1. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We are going to talk about some really, really alarming stuff here. Obviously, there is a lot to go over. Now, first of all, White House is giving Maduro an ultimatum as the U.S. moves towards land operation. Now, this ultimatum, a lot of this stuff is coming from the officials that we have talked to and the officials that know this. Well, essentially, if you haven't been following what's going on with Venezuela right now, obviously there's 11 warships, there's 15,000 troops in the Caribbean, and there's a lot happening right now. Now, I believe this is because of something much bigger. Everybody has a side theory. People think that some of it is just to sideline the whole file release. Of course, now, the Maduro president and even the Colombian president are actually saying that this is the only reason this is happening. I actually think that this is because of something else. I believe that all of the countries that are involved, all of the countries that have strife, Ecuador, Panama, Honduras is having all sorts of political issues right now. Colombia, Venezuela, all of these are the countries that, if you look at a map, they are literally all of the ones that all of the people came in through the last 4 years. And now, all of a sudden, we are on this crazy, crazy move to do some of the craziest ICE operations ever. Looking at the communities that are being hit, 9 times the amount of Asian folks are getting rounded up compared to last year. That's pretty crazy. So it seems to me like they know about something that we don't, and they're not telling us. Mind you, they are telling us it's about narco terror, and they've conveniently connected Maduro to the narco terror, which under national security ways can essentially skip, the Congress and go to war. I mean, like we are basically, have a chunk of our Navy down there as if we were going to start NAM again, right? And that's exactly what is going on right now. As Washington prepares to launch land attacks inside Venezuela, a long-awaited phone call between the White House and the Caracas aimed at diffusing the crisis carried a blunt message for strongman Nicolas Maduro. You can save yourself and those closest to you, but you must leave the country now, sources familiar with the exchange told the Miami Herald. It says, immediately to allow the restoration of the democratic rule while regime leaders proposed handling political control of the opposition but retaining command of armed forces. Now, other folks think that they are going down there to essentially take control of the resources, and this is about money. And you guys very well may be right, but I think that there is more than 2 birds and there's more than 1 stone, right? So this is absolutely nuts. We're going to talk about this not only here, but on our next show, along with some of the really, really scary predictions Sarah Adams has been talking about. She says that we are weeks away from an operational phase of a massive, massive event happening in the United States. Before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, Harvest Right is one of the best freeze dryers on the market. And if you guys have not already, make sure to go check these out because obviously Black Friday, there are a ton of sales going on right now. Of course, marfooglenews.com/freeze. You can get your hands on a device that these are not, these are more in reach for people right now at $1,000 off on most of these machines than they ever have been. So if you have been waiting or if you've been saving up for one of these, I highly recommend doing it during a Black Friday, especially the biggest Black Friday sale they've done. marfooglenews.com/freeze. Again, you'll help us out with a small commission and you will help yourself out with a giant discount. Again, you'll be getting prepped at the same time. Let's bring in my co-internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
So, Dex, over the weekend, holiday weekend, everybody had Thanksgiving. Obviously, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. But, a lot has happened over the weekend, and, a lot of people are just still burning off the turkey. Meanwhile, we're about to start a massive war.
Exactly.
Talk about this next one.
Yeah, exactly. Look, even on Thanksgiving, I think President Trump made the comment that, we were going to go into Venezuela really soon, and now we're inching closer and closer every day, almost every hour at this point. So, but just to recap, there's now like 11 U.S. warships, 15,000 troops in the Caribbean there. Obviously, with the USS Gerald R. Ford being the large carrier strike group, being the biggest portion of this, a Marine Expeditionary Unit capable of amphibious land invasion has also been deployed as part of the efforts. And of course, all of this is as they say, is to stem the flow of drugs into the U.S. But the fact that we have got so much firepower set up on the coast in the Southern Caribbean, right up against Venezuela's back door, it's clear that basically there's an ultimatum for Maduro, or he's either out or he's going to be forced out by the U.S. I don't see this as, oh, we're just policing the waterways. That's just for show right now.
Yeah, and for years I've told you guys, and even for 3 or 4 years, about the fact that I thought it was very odd. Obviously, people like Muckraker were down, investigative journalists down at the border. While all of this was going on, he went down there to see, who are all of these people coming in? Well, what he found was very alarming. You had many groups, large groups of men, 18 to 25-year-old men, one from China, that were all coming buzz cut, fatigues, wearing full fatigues, and all looking like they just came straight out of a unit, right? Now, there's video of this. You can go check it out for yourself. That was very alarming. Then it was alarming during the last 4 years too, as well, especially when we were about to pick the current president now, when everybody realized that there's all this farmland right next to all of our bases that was bought. Some people, when I mention some of these things, people aren't connecting all of this. But when you look at the map of everything that's affected and you look at what's actually happening in our country, the media wants to tell you that, oh, look at this, that they're going after all of these people because it's this word or that word, the R word. I have to say, it's pretty crazy to see all of this happening at once and people aren't connecting the dots on it. The fact that, that we're creating a Golden Dome. The Golden Dome is to protect cities against missiles launched off of the frickin' coast. Okay, this is something we've never worried about before. It is also to worry about nukes launched from adversarial countries, not rogue countries like North Korea. That's like the end-all be-all to get rid of mutually assured destruction. So in itself would be a destabilizing factor for them to do. So that in a big way is like, puffing their chest out and saying, okay, this is it right now. And that tells me that there are some big moves being played by China and Russia and other countries that they're trying to take their place. China's trying to take our place especially. So right now, with all of this going on, I don't know how people aren't seeing it. Every single country that was involved in the people that came up through to the country, through to Mexico, are having issues. All of these leaders are getting taken out in Mexico, and of course, they're going to tell you it's because those leaders were against the narco terror. But I'm sorry, the cartels, they pay those leaders very, very, very well. I bet you that most of them aren't just so principled that they're turning down $1 million payments and all of this. I think they're getting taken out because of something else that they wouldn't agree to, or they wouldn't do this, or they wouldn't do that. I don't know, but something is really, really off. There is political strife. Look at every single country that goes the path that comes through Venezuela, Colombia, Panama, Ecuador, Honduras, all of these places, all the way up to the United States. Every last one of them is in strife and in some way involving China. So if people aren't putting two and two together, I don't know what to say. And then Trump to hold Venezuela Oval Office. And by the way, people are going to push back, and I've been called an idiot more times than I would love to in email, saying, "Oh, what do you mean? Oh, they're doing this because of the 100,000 people are dying a year." And I'm sorry, I just don't. I think it's more the money angle would be more, or the resources angle would be more making sense to me than anything else, because look at the people in charge. They're very rich people, and they're rich for a reason. Trump to hold Venezuela Oval Office meeting amid growing questions about his military move. Dex, do you want to talk about this meeting? And they're going to have this meeting about this, a war meeting.
Yeah, certainly. So apparently, Trump will hold a meeting at the White House tonight, this evening, as the next steps for Venezuela. So presumably that meeting's either already gone underway, or is happening as we speak. It probably is done at this late hour, but this was supposed to be potentially the meeting that makes the decisions on what are they going to do next. This was a high-powered meeting, according to sources. So the key members of the Trump cabinet, the national security team, including Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, Chairman of Joint Chief of Staff General Dan Kane, and Secretary of State Marco Rubio were all expected to attend. That's the three key players here, as well as the White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles and Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller. So a pretty powerful meeting, the type of meeting you would expect if he's getting ready to make a decision to move forward with one direction or another. So maybe that was supposed to take place at 5 Eastern. Of course, anything at the White House is always about an hour behind schedule. So that probably took place 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago at best. So we haven't heard necessarily what's come from that, but you can presume that if they were going to move forward on a strike, then that would potentially come after this if he has agreed to it. And then the military would, then maneuver based on the best time for their plan on one day, night, whatever time is the appropriate for their success of the mission.
Now, there's a lot of stuff over on my Twitter right now. I spent a bunch of time today curating a lot of stuff that is out there right now. Of course, there's videos of Venezuela preparing. These are the Venezuelan generals. Essentially, they say that they are actually preparing for a war.
Va a ser un saneamiento y exploración con todos los medios aeronavales para.
Now you can go watch this over my Twitter again, and it was only a coincidence that I ended up doing about 3 of Jackson Hinkle's tweets. This guy is like heavily defending China, saying it's the best country in the world. I mean, I've always known that guy has been one direction. He's posted the Colombian president too. So the Colombia president came out and said, basically a clan of people that are after all these. Colombia was, working very well with the U.S. So to go watch that speech by the president, obviously we've got a bunch of countries that are about to essentially back each other up right now, and they're all in this path all the way up to the United States. So it really makes you question. This is Honduras. This is some sort of strife happening now. Nobody actually spoke the language here, whichever languages they were speaking, and a lot of people said that this was, military storms polling station after this our president-backed candidate claims victory. Well, it turns out that there was troublemakers there, but there are issues in Honduras, and there are issues with what's going on politically. So all of these places are getting hit right now. Meanwhile, you've got Maduro dancing on a stage. This is verified, by the way. Dancing on a stage while we're supposedly about to go and, invade. So whatever is going on right now, it seems like there is a massive event coming. We're going to talk about Sarah Adams. I will show you guys that on the next show over on Marfoogle TV. She is saying that they're weeks away from an operational phase of that thing we have talked about since the beginning of this year. In fact, December of last year. She is an open source analyst and ex-CIA, so, not everybody's going to believe her. They're going to think she's a spook. But she has put together a lot of information. She believes that they are putting together some sort of massive event in both the U.S. and Europe, 1,000 at least involved all over the country to coordinate. Now, I think it's kind of funny that... right as this is going down, you are seeing all over. They have the DHS and ICE going on these massive raids. Apparently at DHS, they are just like bouncing out. They have way more people. People are working overtime. They have huge groups meeting and huge raids going on right now. And this is Tom Homan just ordered that they go to Michigan. Deer something, Michigan. But essentially that's the same place that they had just chanted, death to our country. So it's pretty convenient for all of this to be happening weeks before that prediction to be right in that play. So hopefully that is not the case. We'll see you over on Marfoogle TV. We'll talk about that. We'll show you that. And yeah, definitely do not want to miss tonight's show. Thank you guys, and happy holidays. Hopefully you all had a good Thanksgiving. We'll see you in just a moment. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out.